Last time we were talking about the impurities of the gift by the existence, enveloped by the three layers. What are those three layers? The real self. First, the outermost layer is of impurities. Second layer is the projection, and the third layer is ignorance. Second layer is the projection, means imagine. All these projections are also the art form. But if I want to find out the real self, I have to bypass that. I have to transcend that. If I do not transcend, I cannot get it. Innermost layer is ignorance. So the method employs is the self-inquiry. What is self-inquiry? In inquiry, we want to know the cause and effect relationship. What is the cause of a thing? And if we overlook the cause of a thing, then there are always chances we get trapped in projection or the impurities. So there is another way to understand what is the real self and the false self. That is what I was just talking to. The real self, we say that it is beyond the time. It means it exists in all the three periods of the time. The false does not exist in all the three periods of time. Another most important difference between the real and the false. The real self is independent and the false depends on the real. To prove something false, there has to be real in the background. I show you the picture of the mouse. Is this elephant? You say, how can it be an elephant? Because you already have a reference of what is an elephant. You see, we don't go by any false notion. We don't go by belief. We go by what is the truth. So once we understand that this real self is enveloped by the three layers, we have to remove all the three layers, and the outermost layer is the impurities. We have to go and find out what exactly is the impurities of the mind. What is? So once we get rid of these impurities, we reduce our suffering and the stress. Once we start removing those impurities, we have a clarity about our nature. When we remove these impurities and projections and ignorance, we experience, here is the wisdom, here is the inner peace, here is the inner calmness, here is the joy, here is the creativity, here is the confidence. Why this happens? Because when we remove these impurities and the ignorance, we experience that we are not a limited creature. Because of the projection, we experience the limitedness because we claim we are a body-mind complex. What it means? Because every time, the moment we wake up in the morning until we retire to the bed, we have a feeling I am the body-mind complex. Body is limited. You are in New Jersey and I am here in Arizona. So what I am talking about? So I am talking with reference to the body. When I said I am in Arizona, I am a limited being. I experience as if I am the body. That is why I said I am in Arizona and you are in New Jersey. We don't see that we don't see unlimitedness. So that limited, that body-mind complex limits us. When there is a limitation, there is always a sense of insecurity. We are always scared of the fear. All kinds of the fear is there. Because we feel limited, we are not, there is no contentment. A limited being cannot feel the sense of contentment. And there is always a sense of unhappiness. So when we understand little deeper that what exactly is the impurities, what exactly is the impurity? So you see the logical way to understand the impurity of the mind. First understand in a local, in a very pragmatic way. I am teaching something and you react. That is an impurity. First you listen and understand. There is no need to react. How dare you? So when you use the word how dare you, your mind is impure. Enough is enough. Your mind is impure. Because you are carried away by your expectation which is not fulfilled. That is why you say enough is enough. You get easily agitated. You react easily. You are an extremely selfish person. That is also an impurity. You live in your own cocoon, own shell. Your definition of good and bad depends on your preferences of likes and dislikes. That is also impurity. Because of the impurities, you suffer from the stress and you will continue to suffer from the stress. There is no way. No way. 90% of your stress and suffering belongs to that impurities in the mind. Your expectations are not fulfilled. You know the word miser? The miser, we use the word with reference to the money. You are emotionally miser. You are intellectually miser. Bankrupt. That is also known as the impurity of mind. We always feel we are, extremely tired. We lose our awareness. It is the impurity that causes this. So when we talk of the mental impurity, it is the thought associated with the feeling. It has to do with the desire. It has to do with the extremely selfishness. Selfishness means that I am a very limited person. I am a center of the world. I am a consumer. I never think of becoming a contributor in the world, even emotionally and mentally. So even those people who are never a contributor, even if you look so good and nice in behavior and talk outside, you live with those impurities, you suffer. So when we talk of the impurities, so now understand a little deeper of the word impurity. Here is a glass of water and here is a lemon. Both are pure in their reference, but when they mix together, the water is impure, and even the lemon is impure. Because something foreign substance has been mixed in the water or the lemon. So anything foreign substance, when it is mixed, the mind becomes impure. No, so tell me, what is the intrinsic nature of the mind? The intrinsic nature of the mind is the knowledge, calmness, peace, intrinsic nature. So it means the mind is upset, obviously it is pure. It is impure. So it is not 1 hour journey a week we have to be mindful. We have to live mindfully 24/7. Anytime the impurity attacks the mind, I have to find out the reason. Another way to understand the impurity is the tendencies of the mind towards the world outside, towards your honey outside, towards your relation. What exactly is the tendency? Tendency is a thought. It reflects in some behavior and attitude. What we say outside if we go to the mall is not the tendency. What we feel inside when we look at any object of the pleasure. Oh, this object must belong to me. This person must belong to me. That thing must belong to me. How dare you touch my object? These are all tendencies. We develop a particular attitude. And if anyone goes against that attitude, we start playing tantrums. That is also the impurity. So then what happens? Our behavior and attitude before a person is one person is different than the other. Our behavior and attitude before one person is different than in front of the others. So where we hide our impurities to present ourselves. So we are creating a covering. So from impurities we create a projection. So unless we examine and we do the mental surgery of our own self by listening to these principles, the mind is not going to be pure. We all have a tendency to present ourselves one thing, our personality, before our friend, before our honey, before the society. We have a varying degree of personality and behavior. It comes from the impurity of the mind. Why it happens? So once we have understood about the impurity, then why it happens? Oh, John is not there? What happened? Okay. So why it happens? Why the impurities has happened? Why, when the intrinsic nature of the mind is calmness, knowledge, and the peace, why the impurity comes? Oh, nature has put lot of impurities in my mind. So what should I do? No, nature has no role to it. My honey make me angry. Your mind is impure. That's why your honey makes you angry. Society makes you angry. The world makes you angry. They have to do nothing. We have an intellect. We have a free will. We can choose not to get agitated. Why we miss? Why we do not choose? Think of it. Why we don't choose? Because we are obsessed. Why? Because we are attached to something dearly. Because we dislike something. We already have a disliking in our mind about a person, about a food, about a cloth, about a situation, about anything. So from where the impurities comes into the mind? Because the mind has created strong likes and dislikes which resulted into an attachment and detachment of the objects of the world. And as long as we are strongly attached and detached to anything in the world, the impurity will continue. That is not going to help us to reach to the real self. So the strong obsession and attachment veils the real self. It is like a dust on the mirror. We want to keep the dust and we still want to see our image as it is. It is not possible. So we have to understand the impurities of the mind in that way. And I told you, we are so much limited ourselves. We have limit. Why you self-limit yourself? Because of ego. No, I don't have an ego. And still I have an extreme level of jealousy and hatred and disliking. If we say like this, we are a hypocrite. The hypocrite always suffers. That is another way to look at it. I have to get rid of the ego, which contains the... Everyone has an ego, I will say. We have to keep the ego at a minimum. We should not have an ego based on the objects of the world. If it is based, it depends on the... I also have an ego. Now I am a student of my master. So that ego doesn't hurt anyone. I follow the teachings of my master. So I have to examine how any behavior expressed by the ego hurts, divides, confuses, reacts. That ego must go. That is also known as the impurity of the mind. I have to think, I have to speak, and I have to act with reference to the peace and happiness, or with reference to the real self. I can dissolve that ego. That we will understand step by step. So now understand intellectually how our master says there are 6 factors that causes the impurities, the likes and dislikes, that causes the attachment and detachment. So attachment and detachment is the first impurity in the mind. It results into desire, that is the second. Desire results into repeat desire, that is greed. We are not talking of morality and ethics. We simply brand it, they are the impurities of the mind that will prohibit it, that will prevent the realization of permanent peace and happiness. That is why we experience peace and happiness just for an hour after doing the practice, and then what happens? Our behavior and attitude takes over our life, so we lose that peace and happiness. We don't want to remove them. I want to continue my hatred. I want to continue my jealousy. I want to continue my selfish nature. I see as if I take a pill of meditation and I become pure. Not possible unless I change my entire nature. So the first is the attachment, detachment. Second is the desire. And once I fulfill some desire, I experience the pleasure. So that experience of the pleasure comes from the ego, because ego is focused on that. So that ego wants to repeat the pleasure. So repeat pleasure is known as greed. So attachment, detachment first, then desire, then repeat desire means greed. So once you have all the three impurities in your mind, it results into delusion, the projection in the mind. After the projection, there is a pride, which is also known as the ego. And because of the pride, we move in the world with some kind of a jealousy hidden inside. So these 6 impurities of the mind has minimum, I would say, 1,000 siblings, or you can say 1,000 children. When you wake up, some of the children pops up. In the afternoon, something pops up. When you say, I'm upset, I'm agitated, they all are the impurities of the mind. I must change my attitude if I want to be pure, if I want to make the mind pure. Inner mental attitude towards any action that I perform outside. So the right proper mental attitude and the right and proper action outside. The right proper inner mental attitude and the right proper action in the world. That is one of the great purifiers of the mind. So I don't hide anything. I don't enter into the conflict within me before I think and speak and act and express in the world today. So that is going to help. Find out, do I express differently from what I am to my honey, to my near and dear ones, to the society, to the relations, to the people? And if the answer is yes, we are always full of impurities in the mind. And that is the cause of my frustration, that we don't recognize. Because I don't recognize, so I blame others. Then I blame everyone in the world. I blame the situation, I blame the weather. So the impurities continues, the stress and the suffering continues. When we examine, we find there is a need. Instead of attachment and detachment, we need a dispassion. And dispassion comes from the discernment. Ultimately, from the discernment and dispassion, we filter out. It's a process, it's an understanding. We have to pay attention how to reduce and minimize the attachment to possessions, attachment to relationship, so that I can move towards the permanent happiness. I spent 5 hours on the social media and I spent 20 minutes on meditation. It will not work. I spent 5 hours in chattering about others. I feel lot of stuff from the world outside. And that's why I become awfully busy. It doesn't work that way. We have to be mindful. We have to examine our own mind. Then only it really works. It has been a tough topic. I don't want to remove my impurities and still I want to recognize and realize my real self. Not possible. I told you. 3 coverings are there. Gift is inside. It is present unless you open the gift. But opening the gift means opening the 3 layers. Opening the 3 layers means that you throw all these layers, then what is left is the gift. Otherwise, there is no possibility. I have seen a lot of people Sir, namaste, very good, Sir, namaste, you are so good. And the moment the meditation comes to an end, my honey is crazy. I cannot leave my behavior and attitude. I cannot leave my nature. It doesn't work that way. We have to be truthful and honest to ourselves first. Close your eyes, be comfortable. Eyes are closed, find out the most comfortable position of your body. So the first pointer in purifying the mind is to change the direction of the mind. What we are doing in being comfortable and being carefree. We change the direction of the mind. How? Look at it. I don't say look at any object, look at your honey, look at any person. I say look at your neck joint. So we turn the face of the mind from outside to inside. So what is the first barrier moving inside is the body. So that is why I say look at the head and the neck mentally, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Move the mind on the shoulder joints, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Move the mind on the hip joint, be there, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. You are aware of the entire body, understanding, knowing clearly that I am not the body, and still we are using the body as a tool. What? To move the mind within, to change the direction. So when we change the direction, those suppressed or hidden likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment, those hidden desires dissolves for the time being. That is the meaning of being comfortable. Move the mind and the entire body from the top of the head to the toes and feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Any movement, any hesitation in the body is a movement of the impurity in the mind. That is why the body starts moving. You see, it's a very subtle science. And now being carefree. Being carefree means we are not doing anything. And then we understand through the metaphor lane 1, lane 2, lane 3 of the mind. Like we have a highway with the 3 lanes, we have a mental highway with the 3 lanes. The lane 1, you are already in meditation, and the mind jumps here and there on different thoughts, unwanted, unwelcome. When we start meditation, our mind receives the thought we have never thought of. That is why we say lane 1 is the unwanted thought and feeling. But lane 2 is an observer, it is looking. It is like you are standing across a road, and watching the traffic. So here the metaphor is lane 1 and lane 2 both belongs to the mind. Lane 1, unwanted thought is the lane 1, that is the mind. Lane 2 is the intellect. You see, the metaphors are not always equal, but it gives you a possibility to understand. Say, for example, you have a storm outside and the calm inside. So that calm inside is the lane 2. And the storm outside is nothing but the unwanted thoughts and feelings. So the moment, what exactly we want to do, we want to see. We want to see that all these thoughts and feelings are not subjectified. Means what? They remain separate from us. When I see they are separate from us, we are instantly carefree without doing anything. So it doesn't go that easily. So we have a mantra, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Let everyone be happy. Now you see, to the person I like, I want him and her to be happy. To the enemies which my mind is projecting, I don't want them to be happy. So it is basically present in the mind, that wrong notion which is causing the impurities. So what we say, let everyone be happy. So we drop our attitude in a wrong notion that one is a friend and other is enemy. That is the message. No one is friend, no one is enemy. If I am going to die, no one is going to die for me. So no one is friend, no one is enemy. So we are treating the mind through this mantra, let everyone be happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya. Let everyone be in the state of well-being. We are not attached, we are not detached to anyone. This thought, the meaning of this thought should be repeated millions of times to rise in awareness. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let everyone be blessed. The entire universe belongs to everyone because we are the part of this entire cosmos. You are the part, I am the part. I did not create you, you did not create me. We both are looking at the entire cosmos and the universe. Hence, let everyone be blessed. That attitude, that thought with the feeling should be settled in our mind. Why? I already told you we are discussing about how to change our behavior and attitude. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave. We should hammer the mind when the mind says, oh, that guy is crazy, this guy is not good, and we have nothing to do with anyone. So what it says, we have to hammer our mind all the time, anytime, every time this mind starts thinking ill will of others. We ask the mind, there is no possibility that you think any ill will of others. There is a long chain that we are going to understand. Because of the selfish nature, self-centered nature, we have those thoughts. Then comes the attachment and detachment, that comes the obsession, and which ultimately creates those thoughts. They are always present, either hidden or expressed. What we are saying, let none suffer from misery in this world, any misery. At the very outset, we make it a firm decision in our life. So it's not easy for us to contemplate and reflect daily because great seekers are able to reflect and contemplate. So you can be a great seeker. You are regular in the journey. You do the practice every day, and the way these lessons are taught, you repeat the lesson every day, you check your level of awareness in the mind and the attitude. So in a live session, we do the practice, we add something intensive. And I gave you such a simple practice that can be done by anyone. You look inside the forehead and start breathing quick, short in the breath. Quick, short breathing into the chest. You are breathing through the nostrils into the breath. You are breathing into the chest through the nostrils and continue breathing. Here also the mind objects. Mind says, no, I feel something different. Why should I do it? So what should we do? We should endure it. We use the will of the intellect. No, I will do it. But normally, sometime if we have an extreme impurity, our breath rate changes. The mind dictates the breath. No, keep on doing the same rhythm. And now stop this. So, we have changed certain experiences in the mind. So with those experiences, we take the mind deeper. So now start breathing deep, silent and slow. How do you know that you are breathing deep, silent and slow? First you inhale into the belly, then into the rib cage. You exhale from the belly, from the rib cage. So you feel the expansion and the contraction of the belly and the ribs alternatively. Inhale into the belly, then you continue inhaling, your rib cage expands. But still the mind does not listen to us. So what should we do? We add one more thing. So first thing, there is a stillness in the body. Second thing, the deep silent slow breathing is there. What is the third? Third is the mind. We use the mantra. You say Shantoham 3 times during inhalation, and you say Shantoham 3 times during exhalation. Your inhalation is deep, Shantoham, Shantoham, Shantoham. Inhalation is complete. And during exhalation, you feel those moments of a contraction of the belly and the rib cage while Shantoham is done 3 times. But just giving a chance softly to the mind. Mind cannot be trained and educated by violence, by suppression. And now during inhalation is the same, but you are doing Shantoham 2 times. So you add some emotion. Shantoham, Shantoham. The breath, the length of the breath is the same. But what exactly we are doing? We have increased. We have added the emotion. So Shantoham is the longer. Why? Maybe add some emotion. You can drive away the unwanted thoughts also. Shantoham. One inhalation to Shantoham, one exhalation to Shantoham. Shantoham. You see the mind getting absorbed inside. So we followed the journey. We changed the direction of the mind from outside to inside. And now we do Shantoham only one time with the deep, silent and slow breath. Your mind sings Shantoham. Inhalation is done. Shantoham. Exhalation is done. So you see the breath remains the same, so we give some standard to the mind to follow. When there is no likes and dislikes in the mind can follow that standard. If there are likes and dislikes, the mind will not follow it. and do nothing, remain as you are. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. Bring your mind on the left hand. Lift your both of arms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down, we'll share our experiences, and if you have any question, you can ask the question. So, how are you, Sophie?
I feel good. Thank you, Girish. I think there was at the beginning of the meditation I was not really there, but then I picked up. I've noticed that in meditating recently, I've tried to do the counting, and I have to restart from the beginning all the time.
Yes.
Yes.
You see that when you start counting and you forget the counting, that simply means the unwanted thought takes over your mind. And not one. I don't hear you.
An image or a thought comes in, and then my mind goes with it. I can see it. It goes with it.
It is because of the impurities of the mind. That's another way to understand. That is another. So constantly we need to do it. We have to examine not only the thought takes away my mind, but what kind of thoughts are there. And you will discover these thoughts are made up of the likes and dislikes. It has to come from the selfish nature.
There's an echo. There's an echo in the voice.
Yes, what did you say, Mead?
Now your voice had an echo in it, but now it's back.
Yeah, yeah. It is because of this Sophie. How are you, Mead?
Because of the Sophie. I felt like, oh, everything you said, it was like this clear drink of water tonight that you
Good.
offered.
Good.
So clean, so simple, and so deep.
Yeah.
But I could let go of my all that stuff. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh.
you see that when you listen and your mind becomes aware, you let go of all the stuff. And after some time, they return back again. That is why I have been stressing it's a repeat learning and listening. Doing the practice without fail is one thing. So not only you listen and learn from the file that I sent to you, but then after listening, learning and doing the practice, you sit calmly and then you start contemplating and reflecting what is being taught, what the lesson says, what exactly is the today's lesson topic, what exactly is the concept. So you start thinking in that way. So when you start thinking in that way, that is what the contemplation and reflection is. So what happens? You have those thoughts pertaining to removal of the impurity. You don't have a thought that invites the impurity. So that helps you to raise your level of awareness. And then what happens? Then you are counting the breath, the mind is not going anywhere. So it's a process. It's a basically knowledge needs to settle in the mind. If it does not settle in the mind, then then meditation practice is like taking a pill. Just a pill is taken and it has a temporary effect for a couple of hours and then the effect is gone. So in order to make this permanent,